Chapter 2, Section 2, Sumerian Religion. Basic Beliefs of the Sumerians. A polytheistic religion. However impressive Sumerian culture might have been, the Sumerians had not learned the lessons of the flood or of the Tower of Babel. They had lost the knowledge of the one true God and his purposes. When God called Abraham out of the land of Sumer, it was a summons to separate from the many false beliefs of the Sumerians. The Sumerians were polytheist. Unlike the monotheist, worshiper of one God, Abraham, they believed in the existence of more than one God, indeed of very many gods, forgetting that the one personal God created everything in nature. The Sumerians personified, or thought of as persons, forces of nature such as wind and rain, or objects of nature such as the sky, sun, and moon, and worshipped them as gods. Sumerian Humanism. The Sumerians were also humanist, for they had made men into gods, changing the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like the corruptible man. Romans chapter 1, verse 23. Abraham believed that men were created in the image of God by God, but the Sumerian gods were created in the image of men by men. The Sumerians made their gods resemble humans in actions as well as in appearance. Unlike Abraham's God of infinite perfection and power, the Sumerian gods displayed petty jealousy, envy, and fear. Anu, the god of the sky, supposedly ruled the other gods, but, much like a human ruler, was constantly threatened by rebellion. These imagined gods met annually to decide what they would cause to happen on the earth for the rest of the year. A dissenting god might plot against a decision. These false beliefs had a powerful influence on the lives of the Sumerian people. How the Sumerians tried to serve their gods. Cities and ziggurats. Believing that men had been created to serve these powerful gods who could bring good or bad things upon them, the Sumerians strove to please their gods. Each Sumerian city supposedly belonged to a god. The purpose of a city was to serve its god. The most important parts of Sumerian cities were the ziggurats, towers built in tiers or stages, each stage smaller than the one beneath, all atop a large mound of clay or debris. Atop the ziggurats, Sumerians tried to reach up to heaven to offer thanks, praises, and sacrifices to their gods. The ziggurats were large and designed to impress the imaginary Sumerian gods. The ziggurat at during Abraham's day was 200 feet long, 150 feet wide, 70 feet high, and crowned with a shrine to the moon god Nana. Kings, religion, and politics. Each city had a king who ruled over the people of the city, but also served as a slave of the city's god. Pictures of King Ur-Nammu of for example, show him as a worker building the ziggurat. The source of the king's power over other men was the special relationship that he was believed to have with the god of the city. Using religion as a political tool, the king demanded obedience by claiming to be the particular slave favored by the god. Anyone who refused to support the king risked bringing the god's wrath upon the whole city. Business, commerce, taxes. Sumerian temples also served as commercial and business centers. The god of the city owned everything, including agriculture, production. Farmers brought offerings to the temple, while a host of craftsmen worked in the temple, making things to please the god and, of course, the god's chief servant. Struggle between cities. The Sumerians also tried to imitate their gods. For example, kings often aspired to rule over other cities, just as some gods wished to rule over other gods. As a result, there was continual warfare between the cities of Sumer. Hope. The Sumerians' vain efforts to elevate themselves by building a great society without God was the first of world history's many repetitions of the mistake made at the Tower of Babel. Yet Sumer was the scene of an event in a new chain of hope. One man in Sumer, Abraham, believed in and obeyed the one true God and began a journey toward the land of God's promise. Abraham's faith. Although Abraham left behind an impressive culture, he received from God much more. God promised Abraham that his name would be great, for he would be the father of a great nation, a nation that would be a blessing to the whole world. God would protect and defend it, cursing its enemies and blessing its friends. Abraham believed God and began a journey of faith. He did not know precisely where he would settle, and he must have feared the unknown dangers of the land he was entering. There were to be many trials of Abraham's faith, as indeed there have been for the faith of the nation he fathered. But Abraham's faith would lay the foundation for a new alternative to the Sumerian pattern of rebellion against God that continued in Mesopotamia.